Today. So we're doing our best to see if we can have some understanding of what happened or transpired yesterday and what we are expecting tomorrow. As usual, we've been bringing you the live coverage of what's been happening at the Supreme Court all throughout. We intend doing the same today. We'll try and understand some other angles to it today and then go over to the Supreme Court. So 10 o'clock for sure we'll be there. But before then, as usual, we always do our best to do some discussions and then at least walk you through what a day is likely to look like. Let me quickly go through, introduce the gentlemen who have joined me here this morning to help with the discussion. I have here Raymond Avonyo, who is with the Ghana Investments Group, GIG for short. Thanks for joining us this morning. Then also with us, legal brain as well, Kakra Esamwa. You're welcome. The gentlemen together will say welcome to our studios, and we'll do our best to see if we understand what's happening as far as the election petition hearing is concerned. To start with, generally, before we launch into anything, we also will be talking to our crew over there at the Supreme Court premises. We'll find out what's happening, the atmosphere out there, and all that as usual. But generally, we've done 5 days or so already of this hearing, and generally, let me talk to you as a business person. Your impressions, generally, summing everything up.
Basically, it's an interesting thing that's going on in our course today. From the business angle, it has a major impact on our businesses today. We need to look at it from that angle critically to know what is going to happen from now and in the future. I'll look at it from how the politics on the court is going to affect business today. If you look at our stock market,
so generally, as a business person, that's where you have been focused on.
Yes, that's
you
my
have been
focus.
very worried about the cost to business and all that.
Yes,
we'll talk about that. As a legal person, I'm sure you're quite used to all this process of back and forth and cross-examinations, all those things.
Yes.
Your general impression so far, we've done some 5 days.
I think it's generally good. I'm not too sure that it's sufficiently transparent, but I think it's good that ordinary people can observe what happens in court, and hopefully, I'm sure we shall get a justice.
What else would you have loved to see in terms of
I'd have
transparency?
loved to see the cameras beam on the faces of the judges. They are the people that the people of this country pay.
What difference?
The lawyers and the parties
What
are private
difference would it be?
individuals.
What would
And to
difference
make a difference, we will know how they hold up to their duties.
You mean body language means
Exactly. We pay them, so we must know how they are holding up to their duties.
whether their interjections are in good faith or that.
Well, you may add that one, but we have a duty to know how they hold up to their duties.
There have been issues about security and the need to protect them from.
Why is everybody complaining about security?
But why should they?
Who is more threatened than the parties and their lawyers? Judges have always had security for as long as I can remember. So why is everybody complaining about that? And why should they be afraid of doing their job? After all, their oath specifies that they ought not to be afraid to do their jobs.
So that for you has been a big issue.
Yes,
all
apart from
throughout.
that, so far, I think that let us see how it progresses.
Let's see how it progresses. So generally, this is what I've gathered. For the businessman, he's had problems to do with economic implications, and for you, issues of perhaps further transparency here regarding particularly focusing the cameras on the judges, the Supreme Court judges. Anyway, so we'll try and take this discussion this morning in that direction. Transparency, as you have mentioned. I'm sure a lot of your colleagues, legal colleagues also, will share that, and then as well to get into the nitty-gritties of what's happening. And then as well, we'll also focus what it means, economic implications for us is being talked about over and over. There have been many who have also tried to look at it from the point of view that, look, consider the alternative. Consider the alternative in terms of what implications there may be if this doesn't go the way it's going. And so if you're looking at economic implications and all that, we should also juxtapose this one. Now let's launch into it. Really your concerns, and do they really hold water here?
I'm going to give you two examples. Right. One, in Nigeria, in 2008, there was a bit of economic unrest as a result of a bit of political misunderstanding. If you look at their stock market, 70% of holding is by foreigners. And for that reason, these foreigners pulled back. They sold off. For that matter, you realize that the economy started doing poorly in 2008. I'm going to give you another example, which is...
You're talking about Nigeria?
Nigeria,
is
in
it 2008.
Boko
Haram issues?
Yes,
okay.
and all of that. And now, in this particular year in Italy. Okay, they're having challenges as to who is going to be the next prime minister. They voted twice. Okay, and for that matter, investors are beginning to lose interest in the economy. People are beginning to sell off. Now, when sell-offs are happening on the stock market, basically this is what is going to happen. Companies are going to downsize. Because when your stocks start losing value, you have to downsize. So the cleaner will have to go home. The technician will have to be sacked. The receptionist will have to go home. In Ghana, now last week, on a Friday close, the stock market closed at 1778.07. Okay, today it's falling. It's 1777.23 since we went to court.
Index.
Yes. Okay, it's falling.
So you are attributing that squarely to what's happening politically?
Seriously, yes. It has implications on our business in Ghana, because what the foreigner is, that some of the holdings in Ghana are held by foreigners.
Our stock market has become sensitive now.
Yes.
It's beginning to
will
feel the effect of the political
definitely it's going to feel
problems.
It's going to feel it now. It's going to feel it even more. The longer the case drags, the more it's going to feel it.
Oh, but there are those who have raised this issue about the fact that yes, investors obviously will hold back and be sure where to put their money in terms of which direction this case is going to go. You would not want to step into the waters and get an agreement signed now and then maybe later it gets overturned and all that. But there have been issues too to do with. Then the investor also now sees that this is a transparent society. We have issues, you can rely on the courts. So even if I come in and I sign and there's anything wrong, I can still rely on the courts. There are cases on both sides.
I'll give you an example. I'm trying to organize a seminar here 6 weeks from now, okay, about the currency market, because that's where I focus mostly on. And I'm talking to this guy on Wall Street, and this is what he said. Is it safe? I hear there's noise. This is just a guy who is just coming to do a seminar for 4 days and go away. His first question, is it safe? He's a very popular guy. When I mention it, a lot of people are going to know. Is it safe? Is it safe? Okay, I said, yeah, it's cool, you can come. He doesn't feel safe coming. Yes, coming to organize just a seminar.
What about the things he pinned down to? What he actually talk about? Sometimes it could be anything, not necessarily what's going on.
His point was this: your guys are arguing in court. I said, which guys? He said, well, the party that won and the party that lost. Okay, now these things are dragging business back. Now, for those in the market now, already in the market, this is what they are going to do. They are going to sell off. When they sell off, the market is going to drop. When the market drops, people will downsize. Companies will downsize. When they downsize,
your problem too is not just to do with those who might want to step in, but even those who are already
in the market. Yes,
they're beginning to have.
Yes, for foreigners, for locals, they are still in the market, because locals buy with the hope that after some 5-6 years, I know my grandfather is about 86, he still has shares with the hope that he will make money. But the foreigner reacts to information, bits and pieces of information. Even a lifestyle of let's say, a fund abroad, maybe assuming that Steve Jobs was still alive, the least thing he does affects his stocks. So they have the same perception when they come to our market here.
So you're saying we're beginning to count our losses?
Yes. Things are going to happen.
Okay, but you see,
if I may complete, if I may complete, things are going to happen. Now, it's going to, if it drags on further, we are even going to experience deflation, whereby prices are going to drop, but even your money cannot be able to buy anything. So it has a bigger effect than just what we are seeing. Now, you were making a point that people are going to say that our democracy has grown. Yes, that's a nice point, but how far is it going to go?
I'll bring in the legal man here, but still, let me finish this with you. Okay, so we're beginning to count our losses.
Yes.
It's affecting business.
It's affecting business.
It's affecting business confidence. But what should we do? Because the case will not stop.
The case will not stop.
It has to continue.
It will continue.
And that's the right of those who have taken it to court and those who are defending it.
I'm sure Laura
so what should we do? Because we need to keep business going.
We need to keep business going. Now, the media has a role to play. The media has, I don't have a very nice word, but if I could find one, the media has not been careful with their comments.
Oh, okay.
Because you have situations whereby it's just like two people watching a football match. They will always have different opinions about how the match went about, all right? But the media here has not been very careful in their reportage and some of the claims they have been making, that they allow people to come on their airwaves and re-narrate the whole story. Okay, instead of helping to brand Ghana, so that foreigners will see it as attractive as a democratic state. That is not happening.
Even in the midst of what's happening,
yeah.
I'll come back to you as far as rebranding is concerned. What prescriptions directly he will give to us, how we need to rebrand ourselves in the midst of all the confusion that we're witnessing. But this should be a field day for lawyers. I mean, it's a test case. It's never happened before. Perhaps might not happen in many years to come. Legally, what are the gains for us?
Even though I am here as a lawyer, I am first and foremost here as a Ghanaian.
Sure.
I want to believe, and I know that I feel for my fellow Ghanaian. In my candid opinion, we didn't have to do this.
Oh
yes.
I don't understand you.
Well, let me tell you. Fortunately, I'm interested in politics.
I know.
And I try to inform my politics with my Christian beliefs. Now, why do we say that Nelson Mandela is a great man? 2 things. He spent 27 years in prison. He managed to survive. And the second one was when he had power, he did not punish his enemies. In other words, you can give up an advantage for the good of the greater majority.
What are you driving at?
Why did the MPP have to go to court? If they are not going to court, will you and I be here discussing this?
But it's not their rights.
As for rights, all of us have rights. I say this with a very serious heart. If they hadn't gone to court, we will be here. It is all well and good to say that you were cheated, but the mark of a great man is when he gives up an advantage and say that for the greater good, for the greater peace of my people.
But this is a passionate appeal that just appealing to the man's. Like you're saying, Christian.
Yes,
but not many people will share that view. And obviously, he leads the party. He's not the only person in there.
Someone has to start that discussion, because assuming the MPP wins, somebody will be the president, different from President John Mahama. Is that not so? Mm-hmm. Yes. So someone has to put his foot down and say that, look, the repercussions will be too much. Look at what my friend is saying over here.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not looking at those figures, but I am sure he's telling us the truth. Is that what we want? He also made some remark regarding the media. I have a little problem with the media, not in the sense that they shouldn't talk or they shouldn't be expressing some of the things they express. But I recall very well in the morning of 9th December last year, and that was the day Afarijan declared the results. 5 minutes past 7 in the morning, Kojo Oponkroma of Joy FM appeared on multimedia TV, I think multi-TV, and announced to the whole world that with the data they have at their disposal, as at that time, 7 a.m., 9th December, John Mahama will be declared the winner. And indeed, John Mahama was declared the winner about 12 hours later by Afarijan. Because of that, I actually took my bath, collected some money, went to church, and took communion. Now, do you know why Kojo Oponkroma said that? Because Joy FM, I know this, because I sometimes have friends there. They had a correspondent in each and every constituency during the elections. My friend, do you think that if anybody was stealing, journalists will not know?
Well, I think we've gone beyond that now.
No, okay. please, let me land. Please, let me land. So, when somebody comes to the studio of Joy FM and wants to argue about the veracity of the results, Joy FM has no duty entertaining that person.
Of course, yeah.
Can you go to the Pope and argue about abortion? Don't you know his position already?
So that's your point as well.
Oh yes.
How responsible?
That is how we have. You see, you don't have to like what you say, but if you believe that what you say is the truth, be prepared to stand by it.
Okay, so now we've gone beyond that point, appealing to them. If you had your own way, they should not have. But it started.
Yes.
He possibly might not stop till.
No, I don't.
Sure. So that's what we're looking at now.
Yes, I don't expect it to stop, but it can stop.
Okay. You mean?
It can stop if someone wants it to stop.
Okay, but
that is not the issue.
Sure.
For now, we are looking at proceedings in court, and I've suggested to you that I don't think it's transparent enough.
Okay.
Over the weekend, the Supreme Court issued a directive regarding how the president's lawyer should continue with the cross-examination of Dr. Bawumia. with the greatest respect to the Supreme Court, I totally disagree with that directive, and I'll tell you why. When you are in court and you are giving evidence, as Dr. Baumia did in his examination in chief, he gave evidence viva voce. That is my voice. And communication is two: voice or gestures.
Yeah.
I'm sure all of you know that.
Yeah.
So after he's giving his evidence in the manner that he did, he can only be cross-examined in the manner that he also offered this evidence. Now the directive
They were looking at how to finish
finished.
that time, isn't it?
Why are you talking about time when the people are challenging 11,000 police stations? You think that it's easy to deal with that matter? Why are you even talking about
Isn't
time?
that the case? The reason for which they say let's find a way of ensuring that
But if you do-
11,000 does not become too
if
much
you
of a
do
problem
that,
for
you are
us.
not treating those who are doing the question fairly.
But we saw what happened in court yesterday. Not too different from what it was before.
Because
So
you see,
I do not
if
think
you
that
tender,
that
if you went to
has
court
so
and
much
tendered
of an influence.
10 footballs and you said that they were all green, if I were cross-examining you, I'll probably take each and every one and ask you, are you sure this is really green? Are you sure it isn't blue?
And that's what Tony Little
That is what he is expected to
And you
do
think
as
that
a
it's his
lawyer.
right to do that?
Exactly. And I am saddened by that directive because it was given in the absence of the parties and their counsel.
So that adds up to the issue you've had with transparency.
Exactly.
So why do you want the cameras to be turned on?
Being on the judges because
Don't you think
we
it will-
pay them. Please,
Don't
they are
don't
not
you
there
think-
for their
don't you
private.
think it's going to bring some undue pressure of sort on
What
them?
pressure? What about the lawyers who are talking? We see that when Tony Lever takes a paper, a pink sheet, he gives it to Dr. Baumia. Dr. Baumia gives it to one of the clerks there, and he gives it to the lawyers. We see their faces, don't we? We are human beings. We love them. They are fellow Ghanaians, and the judges also Ghanaians.
So that's an issue for you. Okay, so let me come back to you. Still on the angle of business. Life has to go on.
Yeah, life has
We
to go
can't
on.
watch ourselves slip down, like you're saying. The figures are beginning to show in that direction. We've got to do something, rebrand ourselves. Perhaps look at the advantageous side of this whole thing to see if we can re-crank the economy and start some northward projections. What should we do?
Basically, in terms of rebranding, it's going to be very difficult. But
It has to be done.
It has to be done.
Okay, so
it
how
has
do
to
we-
be done by the media being careful. It has to be done by we not allowing other individuals to interpret what we have already seen and heard. Because we all have ears.
Who in particular are you talking about?
The
Those
media
who
here.
just show up on air, or those who
call
come
in,
out,
those who
okay?
show up on
Okay.
air, and those who are called specially to give their own opinions
I
after
mean,
what
like
they
the
have
likes
heard.
of you.
Yes, you know. You're the likes of a lawyer.
Okay. Why are you taking yourself out? You're so bad. What you say really means.
So basically, we have to be careful about these people. And when we are careful about them, we are sure that we can get the right message across as Ghanaians. Because our country is more important than any political party. Political parties are very small. Ghana is very big.
Oh,
And
okay,
our
but
focus-
that's step one.
Yes.
Step one in the rebranding strategy. That's step one.
Yes.
Let's watch those who show up to
show up on
speak,
television, on radio
and,
to speak.
and
Yeah.
let's just admonish them to be careful what they say. But that's just step one. It will not stop the case from traveling in the direction that it's going, and still having because it's on TV, everybody's watching, so it's a live telecast. That's step two. What do we do then?
Step two is
The case is going on.
the
We're
case-
watching those
the
who are
case
speaking, but
will
what do you need to do?
The case will always go on. That's just step one. Step two, we must focus on other programs. Okay, we cannot always sit on television and be watching that program. Other stations can cover it. We must also show other programs on television. Focus on other events. Okay, because
you mean that at the point in time we can break away and say
break
we're showing
away.
something
Show
else?
something else. It's on radio. People can listen to it. You can be watching this 24 hours or every day. No.
What, in your candid opinion, would you say a country has to do now? The focus is there. What's going to happen as far as this hearing is concerned, and what we need to do as a people to also ensure business is going on, we do not over focus on it to our disadvantage. Those are the variables we're playing with, and indeed each and every one of them is terribly important.
Government has a responsibility here. One, Governments must assure everybody, including foreigners, that they are safe. Safety is first.
So talking,
security is first.
we need to be talking.
We need to be talking about these variables.
Because the president is still in the palace with his vice and ministers and all that, you think they are not doing enough?
Well, I can't judge that because
but you've got to.
I don't monitor all those variables. But what I would say is that government must give people assurance that they are safe, that businesses are safe in Ghana. Okay, foreigners here, I mean, all the embassies.
Will the talk alone help?
That's what we can do. We can't take the case out of court. It's still going to drag on. We can't take it out of court. We can only talk.
To have it live, telecast.
But there must be a certain limitation to that. Okay,
which is
moving away onto other programs. There must be a certain limitation. There's a TV station that is designated to cover it every day, right? Yeah, so we can move away and focus on other events, because if you turn on your television, your kid wants to watch TV, it's just about the court issue. They're on vacation now. There should be other programs that you should be watching. We can't be watching this all this time. Right, so we can move away and look at other programs.
Should that be coming only from one side? I mean,
how do you mean one side?
We're all Ghanaians, isn't it? If you say government should be talking and showing people that business is safe.
But we have said it already, and
should it be just one side?
Lawyer has already also said it. The media must be responsible, that's all. Government is going to do its part by saying what it must say. We only assume that it should be in the position to assure us that the country is safe, that investors are safe, then investors can come in. Media must be responsible in their opinions.
That's leaves us really still in the thick of affairs. You know, we cannot be.
Because when we allow people to make irresponsible statements, people are going to go away. Businessmen are going to go away. Some businesses are just going to shut down because they are scared. In the wake of elections,
and people saying it's beginning to show already.
It's beginning to show already. In the wake of elections, people left Ghana. Some Italians left Ghana. Some French people left Ghana. Some Americans left Ghana.
Should we be compiling data?
Of course, we should be compiling data
to put out there.
We should be compiling data.
Who should be doing that?
We should be doing that.
Who should be doing that?
The data agencies. I don't want to mention any name, but there are agencies responsible to measure that. You and me don't have the metrics to measure that. Data agencies should be responsible to measure data to know how many people are living and folding up their businesses because of insecurity, because of fear. We should be able to measure that.
Let me come to you. What are your expectations in court today? I mean, the man is still
yes, he will still be
and then
in the box.
Okay.
And the cross examination will continue.
Okay.
He was on overvoting. He started overvoting, the issue of overvoting yesterday. So I'm sure he'll continue and then deal with other matters too in the days to come. When he finishes, the two other counsel of the two other respondents will also cross-examine Dr.
That's the Electoral Commission?
And then the NDC.
And then the NDC.
So Dr. Balmia has...
That's a joint...
Yes, he has quite a while to stay in the box.
Oh. Yeah. Let's see how many days? Because I
cannot predict. I cannot honestly predict. But he obviously is the star witness of the prosecution. He laid out the case for the prosecution, even though in my own opinion he was a little bit inconsistent even in his numbers. He started with 11,916. During the examination in chief, he did it. No, they started watching with 4,709. The original petition. It was amended to 11,916. And then the examination in chief, he amended it to 11,832. And then on the cross examination, it was re-amended to 11,138. And then he said so many things happened: no voting, no signing of pin sheets, 22 ghost stations, 4 or 5 matters. And so he'll be cross-examined on all these things. And it's going to take a while.
Have you been impressed with the quality of questions?
You are asking me to give an opinion that is reserved for the court.
As a lawyer,
yes.
I'm not actually talking about the case and which direction we think. I'm just looking at, have you been impressed with the kinds of questions?
I think that the lawyers handling the case are able lawyers, and they are doing their work to the best of their ability and with the greatest skill. And as a lawyer, I admire all of them. But finally, I think justice will come.
And the man in the box for now, have we helped him much in terms of the kinds of pressure on him? He's been there all this while.
When you say have we helped him, I don't understand what
have we managed the kinds of pressure on him, so he'll be able to be at his best and answer questions quite well.
I still don't get the point of your question.
Because if instances,
I just said that
one, I'm looking at stress and how long it takes to sit in
what
there.
You have said is very important.
Answer questions.
And it fits into my original position. Who started all this?
I think it's well. So
why should I manage the stress of somebody who has started this himself? Why should I do that? If you go to court, and they went to court, don't forget that the others are responding. If you go to court and allege that there are problems with 11,000 and over police stations,
so he must face up to it.
Exactly.
I've also been concerned about issues to do with sometimes he would need things to help him make references and all that, and those are not available.
Those difficulties are not your making.
Okay.
They are not my making. They are not the making of the lawyers.
But I'm asking,
they are the making of the person who is making the allegations. He should prove each and every element of the allegations he's making, and that is what is going on. Do not shift that responsibility onto other people. He came to court and said so, and so, and because of that, the court should annul the results. So he's being questioned on why he said the things he said. If he's suffering from stress, that's terribly unfortunate. But I am not responsible. No Ghanaian, apart from him, is responsible.
What do you make of courtroom activity?
Interesting.
In terms of how each of them have had to conduct themselves over time, and the impressions that is formed in the minds of Ghanaians.
For me, it's an interesting activity that's going on there.
You'd rather we look at stock action.
No, but from yesterday, it's a tough job. I mean, standing for hours and explaining difficult questions is a tough job. I would not like to be in that box. That's what I'll tell you.
No, you won't take anyone to court. You'll not take anyone.
I would not like to be in that box. It's pretty stressful, but they brought it on themselves. So,
and this is just the beginning.
It's their business. I don't.
If the president's lawyer takes, say, about 3 more days,
okay,
we don't know how many days the electoral commissioner's lawyer will take, nor the number of days the lawyer for the ADC will take. Whose fault? I share some of the concern of my friend here, that the fact that everybody is focused on this case. Of course it is an important case, but as I said, did we have to come this far?
I mean, for me, that question,
you understand?
We've gone beyond that. It's happening.
No, you see,
so
I have associations with the media, and I know that as at now, on the media landscape, there's no expert you will not find in the media. And they have the ability to do proper and thorough investigative journalism. I think that you have failed us in one way or the other.
The media?
Letting us know exactly where everybody stands.
But we're not judges. That's why
you don't have to be a judge. Is Afarijan a judge? He declared the results. Is it not by law the person entitled to declare the results? Is he a judge?
Yeah, he is a one.
He's not a judge. Yes.
That's his job.
So you help us to sharpen our skills, to be more competent. I'm sure if you want to do it, you will do it.
I'm sure you show us how.
I'm sure focusing your daily program on the court will not make you make losses anyway.
Well,
because you have to forgo some advertisement, a couple of shows.
That's a lot of
because you're going to make. It's going to affect your business. You're losing money.
And when you lose money, Ghana loses money.
And I hope you're not going to sack the cleaner for losing money.
We have to now begin to work our way towards the court, the Supreme Court. That's the highest court of the land. I understand visuals indicates that some activity really is happening there. I wish that we will speak with a couple of our guys over there. That's a team we've assembled out there. If we can get some signal from them just to know what's happening. For sure, a lot of people also beginning to get ready just to watch, I'm sure, in the marketplaces, the offices, at home, and even traffic. We do spend a lot of time in man hours, and it's going to happen as well today. You want us to begin to shift away and begin to look at other programs. Yes. It also has to do with interest and about what people want to watch.
Is it the interest of the station or the interest of the viewer? It could be your interest, but not the interest of the viewer.
Okay. So whose interest should we now begin to articulate? That's it.
I think the interest of the viewer is more important.
Okay.
Yes, because they make you run.
That's an interesting issue you raised.
Yes.
In 2002, there was a Supreme Court judgment in which the Supreme Court declared that Chikata ought not to be tried for causing financial loss. Chikata won that case, and as a result, another person was added to the Supreme Court, so a review application could be made. And in fact, indeed, in the end, the government won the review application. But I recall very well that when President Kufuor was swearing in Justice Afrey, he said something to the effect that the issue of the jailing of Chikata is a matter of national interest, which the Supreme Court ought not to toy with. He said that.
Okay.
I am deadly earnest when I make
What does that mean to you? I mean,
between jailing Chikata and this case, which one is of more national moment?
I can't tell.
You can't tell.
Well,
I know you
don't
can't
know
tell.
I don't know where you're trying to I don't know where you're trying to
I know you can't tell. He said that the Supreme Court is not merely there to deliberate upon laws and things like that. They must always look at the national interest in deciding certain matters. And that was in connection. And that was in connection with the jailing of Chikata.
Okay. So what are you
in between jailing Chikata and then deciding whether President Mahama, already sworn in because he was elected by Ghanaians, whether President Mahama is president, which one is of more national moment?
I think you've looked at this whole thing. I mean, in your submissions to start with, you've made quite clear where you stand.
That's a question to him, right?
But I'm not supposed to answer.
No, please don't answer.
Yeah.
That's not your work.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that.
That's obviously and also watch. But I mean, you've made it quite clear. You wish that this had not traveled this far,
yes.
But it has. And we're looking at the losses. We're looking at which direction we should be focusing our attention now. What we should be doing to get out of it, because we can't just stop the case anyhow. It has to travel the length, and we must see the details, and at the end of the day give the judges the opportunity to really come up with a verdict. But even in the midst of this whole thing, I mean, we should also be looking at how to organize ourselves to ensure life is going on, and that we do not just sit and watch things go that bad, like you're saying. While we are enjoying the coverage, we're seeing what's happening in the courtroom, you are drawing our attention to the other side, what's happening in traffic, what's happening in the marketplace, what's happening in the stock market, and which has revenue implications. He thinks that we should get people to start putting figures out there. Is this something we should put together and begin to show the country?
I don't understand what that is.
I mean statistics about what is happening, how it's impacting on business. We need those figures.
You can do that.
We can do that. There are agencies in Ghana.
To do that. Let the people know that this is how this case is costing us as a nation.
But coming back to you, I mean, and still on this issue about others saying, look at the alternative.
At the moment,
I mean, look at the alternative.
What is the alternative?
If it doesn't go the way it's going and people begin to get onto the streets, what happens?
Do you know something? I have been in politics for quite a while,
and I've been cutting you in between.
Very well, because of the case.
Yeah.
One small thing you must always remember is that people are taught to love. People are also taught to hate. And do not ever remove the right of choice from individuals. People can rush into the streets. There's one type of person who can come and stand there. Why are you here? And they'll go back. I know you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.